Alright guys, the nation calls once again, and we are back with the showdown between the Empire, who shall be led by Karl Franz, and the Tomb Kings, who are going to be led by Grandpa Kotep. So let's go ahead and check if Kotep's going to be on his Roomba, but it does not look like he is. He's actually going to be on foot, just riding dirty. So he's without his DJ booth, but that makes him a bit of a tougher target, and I think if he was on the Roomba, he would probably just get sniped out by the cannons, but probably the better choice. Anyways, as far as my army goes, the front line is going to be a combination of the Spearmen with shields, I think, or actually no, it's actually going to be all Spearmen with shields. These guys are pretty solid against Tomb Kings. You know, Tomb Kings infantry for the most part is going to be skeleton warriors, Tomb Guards with halberds in this matchup, and I don't think it's really point efficient to go with great swords and try and take those guys out, really quickly, because if you do, the great swords are just going to get run over by Ushapti and Tomb Scorpions and things like that. So I think just going with more of a stalwart front line, getting the very cheap Spearmen with shields, they have 42 melee defense and they just cost like 400 gold. It's just so cost effective. So the entire front line is going to be those guys, and they're going to be decent at holding back Ushapti and Tomb Scorpions, and at the very least they do have charge defense and also have a little bit of a bonus for Slar. Should be helpful. In the secondary line, we're going to be going with the Free Company Militia. So we have a couple groups of them. So one here, one on the far side as well. These guys are pretty cool. They have pretty decent combat stats in melee, 28, 25, 28. So they're going to be able to fend off Carrion and Skeleton Horsemen and things like that, and also give you some perpetual withering fire. Yes, their armor piercing isn't the best, but over the course of a long battle, I found these guys to be pretty cost effective. Oftentimes, if you go too heavy duty with handgunners, I found that handgunners just kind of get chased down and by Carrion, and if they break so damn easy. So I think these guys are a little bit of a safer pick. In the center, I do have these Sterling's Revenge. These guys are just MVPs, unleashing powder into these Skeleton Horsemen. But these guys have really good armor piercing. They're just beasts in melee with 35 melee defense. I mean, these guys, you can't complain about them. But yeah, the AP against constructs is going to be super useful. On the far side, one more Free Company, 2 Knights of the Blazing Sun, just to be epic and also ride through the very light armor of the Tomb King's infantry. Granted, King of the Dead, of course, the Tomb King's Bane, has brought a ton of anti-large with its infantry, so there's not really too many great targets. But if I can catch some of these guys on braced, hopefully I can do some good damage. Karl Franz is an absolute beast in this matchup. He doesn't heal himself like Boris, but nonetheless, with Galmaraz and just his raw overall just damage output, 490 weapon strength, 90 charge bonus, 56 melee attack, he can just slap up these constructs. But he also gets hit back, so you need to be very careful. 2 cannons in the back that are going to be protected by spears, and 1 group of Demogryph Knights who are going to be going after constructs and giving me that heavy support. As far as King's army, he's got a whole front line of Ushapti, a couple groups of Tomb Guards with halberds here in the front. He does have double Necrotect, which are going to be buffing the double Tomb Scorpion, so super nasty. Even if you have guns and cannons, these guys are often obstructed by line of sight. So for example, if they're fighting in the front, you're not going to be able to hit them. It's not like a Kemrian War Sphinx that you can easily snipe out. That's why Tomb Scorpions are so damn good. He does also have Kotep, so he does have the Lich Staff, I would imagine, to lower the cooldowns on my healing, or add to the cooldowns, I should say. He does also have the Curse Blades, Incantation of Protection, and of course he's going to be dropping the Darude Sandstorms. Awesome stuff. So on that note, guys, it looks like the battle's about to start. Let's get it going. Ushapti are going to be charging into the front, but the spears are braced, so the charge defense is going to come into play here. I'm not going to be taking that massive charge damage. And the Demogryph Knights of the Empire are going to be surging forward to intercept these Tomb Scorpions and these large threats. Karl Franz is going to be diving the middle to finish off those Skeleton Horsemen. So those guys just got wrecked. What I do here on the far side is I do a Knights of the Blazing Sun charge into these Skeleton Spears who are not braced. They are moving forward, and then I come to the back of these halberds. So far, I'm going to be getting 2 pretty cost-efficient charges against, unbraced troops, which is good. Granted, it puts me in a bit of a dangerous situation, because now I'm a little bit trapped up here into the spears, and if these guys collapse inward, my Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to be trapped. But the Ushapti here taking massive fire from the cannons in the back, and the Free Company Militia unleashing hell as well. And Karl Franz is single-handedly holding back these Ushapti and doing a pretty good job here. And you can also see the Sterling's Free Company are going to be fighting in the back. But this is really the main fight right here. You can see the Tomb Scorpions are being focused by the cannons, but I just haven't been able to get too many good shots. Like, if you just look down here, they're kind of obstructing because of my spears, but of course he does go into the open a little bit here, so I should be able to get a shot. But nonetheless, this double Tomb Scorpion, Necrotect, just Ushapti, Grandpa Kotep coming in here, they're able to just kind of melt my position, which is a little bit tough. My other group of the Knights of the Blazing Sun was doing some just rear charging or frontal charging on King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, and as such, you can see we're winning this fight here. But at this point, I'm just going to be using them to kind of roadblock, and it's basically just a sacrifice for the gods because, this whole formation is pretty much lost. Here's abandon the city, flee your posts. That's basically what's going to happen right here. So over here in the main fight, Karl Franz is going to be going fisticuffs, going after the Necrotect, and he's able to get some huge damage, but King, of course, does have some halberds right here. They don't really have enough mass to kind of hold him back, but for the most part, it does buy the Necrotect a little bit of time, and I do not want to be sitting and fighting here. I'm taking poking damage, and it is not fun. In the center, we are able to pretty much finish off the Ushapti. The Demogryph Knights with halberds took a beating in that initial engagement, just against the Tomb Scorpions and all those heavy-hitting constructs, but for the most part, they've done a pretty good job stabilizing. These Ushapti are going to be getting finished by the Jade Wizard, and in the back, it looks like some Skeleton Horsemen did attack the cannon, but these brave Sons of Sigmar are going to be holding firm. And the Knights of the Blazing Sun, coming back from their crusade, going to be couching lances, just getting in there a fat charge into these Skeleton Horsemen and sending these filthy bones back to the desert. Or I guess they would just end up here. They're not probably going to get taken back to the desert. That was awkward. Anyways, Free Company Militia going to be shooting downtown into the Ushabti here. And honestly, doing a really good job. I feel like they're pretty solid, especially if you have these Sterlings for the armor piercing. But yeah, just decent and good skeletons, just kind of withering fire. Can't complain about these guys. The Spearmen of the Empire are going to be holding firm in the front, really taking advantage of that high melee defense. But of course, just being swarmed by Ushabti and just massive numbers, they are going to be having some problems. But what's cool about this is my cannons are still online. So at this point in the battle, despite the harass and some of those other tools, the cannons are standing firm, finishing off the last of the Ushabti, because targeting the Tomb Scorpions I found to be pretty inefficient. They just seem to kind of hold for far too long. Demogryph Knights with Halberds, Knights of the Blazing Sun, thinking about intercepting, but trying to get as much focus fire as I can right here. So these Free Company Militia are going to be shooting in. I'm trying to snipe out the Necrotect. Necrotect, of course, really is going to give some serious longevity, and I should have done it earlier, but I just couldn't quite get him. So, Spearmen are going to be sallying forth here. It's going to be a tough one. Double Tomb Scorpion plus like Kotep and all those halberds are going to be just a rough fight. I'm going to continue to pull back my Free Company Militia, trying to form a bit of a firing concave. And Karl Franz coming in with the steel chair, just cracking that Necrotect on the back of the head. And he is in some serious trouble. 253 HP, negative leadership. He's probably going to be crumbling. So just to make sure the Tomb Scorpions don't turn around and goon Karl, I do pull back. Granted, I probably should have finished him, but I was like, okay, he's negative 40. He's probably going to crumble here. And now we're starting to get some juicy fire. So Free Company here shooting, the Sterling's Avenger shooting, doing a good job. Karl Franz with some efficient cycle charging right there. He's able to get some huge damage on that Tomb Scorpion. And over here, we're just using the very tattered Knights of the Blazing Sun to finish off the King Akesha's Scorpion Legion. Granted, even in this 2v1, I don't know how well that's going to go. So these Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to be pulling back as well. And you could see that King of the Dead in the center pocket has done very well. Tomb Guards, Skeleton Spears, they're all in good shape. And now there's going to be a massive amount of pressure coming onto this Great Cannon, and I most certainly do not want to be losing that. In the meantime, a pretty catastrophic situation for me. So Karl Franz does get the regrowth, but he's very close to his healing cap, but he took a huge beating, because just with this Goon Squad here, the double Tomb Scorpion and Necrotect, like if I land in like a bit of an awkward position, like I can just get taken out. So I land there, I get huge burst damage on Kotep. I actually push him away from his supporting elements, which is huge. And you can see I'm actually grabbing my Great Cannon right here, and I'm straight up running, but Karl Franz taking huge damage on the retreat, so I didn't quite get away. Definitely sucks, because now I'm at my healing cap. And the cannon, I'm just actually manually pulling this thing back here. I'm hoping to like reposition it in this grindy fight and eventually start shooting again. So over here I do have my Great Cannon as well, which is going downtown, shooting at the Tomb Scorpion and the Necrotects and getting a little bit of damage. One Tomb Scorpion is almost dead. Karl Franz coming in with the Galmaraz. I don't think he has it popped, but I mean, he's always wielding it, right? So he comes in there, he gets some okay damage, but for the most part, not a worthwhile trade. And Karl Franz actually takes a bit of a beating. Knights of the Blazing Sun charging in, trying to get a little bit of shock damage on Kotep and company, just to, you know, polish those guys off. And I do have the Free Company. So 72 models right here. We have 36 of the Sterling's Revenge, and we should be able to finish off Kotep. He's getting very, very low. 569, that's what she said. And this guy here has 1280, but it looks like Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to be faltering, but the other ones are going to be riding from the sunset. As far as kills go, they only have 50. The fact that King of the Dead brought so many like halberds and units like that really made it quite tough. Cannons in the back, looks like a little bit of friendly fire. It looks like I accidentally gunned down a couple Demogryph Knights on those with those Great Cannons. That's really unfortunate, but you know, I was microing so much elsewhere that it was a little bit tough to keep track of that. So Karl Franz is going to be charging in, and he takes out Grandpa Kotep. So Karl Franz comes in with Galmaraz, a very efficient just strike tactic right there, coming in, taking him out, and now we can go after this Tomb Scorpion and try and isolate some of these units, but King just has so much left. He's got halberds, he's got spears over here, which are just compromising everything. A massive break on the Imperial front. You can see the spears, the cannon, everyone's just wavering against these, you know, relatively cheap undead units. So I'm going to be running right here, Knights of the Blazing Sun. All of these guys are breaking off. So now it's really coming down to this side of the battlefield. And this cannon is online. It's going to be trying to last samurai these guys as they come in here. Karl Franz, of course, going after the Necrotech, because it's isolated, and I figure we can kind of switch to the Tomb Scorpion. But I do grab my cannon crew. I tell them to drop the equipment, which you can do on the toolbar on the bottom, and they're going to be running. But that charge of the Tomb Scorpions did allow me to isolate the Necrotech. So Karl Franz, and the Jade Wizard with the leaping attack, coming in with his nature attack, doing some pretty good work against the Necrotech. And we got him pretty low, but I have to play it very safe. If I screw up at all against these Tomb Scorpions and let Karl get killed, that's 100% going to be game. So the Sterling's Revenge, the other troops are going to be shooting this Tomb Scorpion, 38 HP, and it's going to be falling actually to the fire of the standard Free Company Militia, which is great. And now we're going to be switching on to this Tomb Scorpion, and Necrotech is a little bit separated. So Karl Franz, the Emperor man, is going to be charging in here, and he's going to be going after this Tomb Scorpion. Oh man, I was just watching the trailer with Karl Franz. What is the speech he gives? Like it's like led by the Craven, corrupted by the Greed. I can't remember. I'm going to actually memorize that so I can tell you guys in the games. But the speech, Karl Franz, he's like, no longer. And Karl Franz charges in with Galmaraz. He's going to be dropping the hammer right here on the Tomb Scorpion. He does punt back his Jade Wizard a little bit on accident, or maybe that was the Tomb Scorpion. But Karl Franz is laying just the righteous Sigmar whooping right here on this Tomb Scorpion. And the Scorpion pushing him back a little bit, but Karl Franz is going to stand firm. He's going to be switching, and the Tomb Scorpion has fallen to Karl Franz. So from here, we do have the Necrotech. The Necrotech's pretty much going to be fresh fish because he's just sitting here. Karl Franz is pretty healthy. And these troops that did flee, I'm going to be re-rallying them. Karl is going to be going to his men, bringing them all together in one big happy family. But over here, it looks like the cannon crew unfortunately does get attacked by the skeleton spears. A little bit of a tricky situation, so I will be dropping the crew and running, trying to get these spearmen back to help out a little bit. But Karl Franz is going to be going in and just beating down that Necrotech right there. So sending these foul and dead back to the desert, but the Bouncer is still dead even, pretty much. So the fact that he did get rid of my cannon crew, so this one's offline here, this cannon's offline as well, and Karl is very, very low. And also, keep in mind, guys, there's a ton of halberds left, so it's certainly not over. I mean, these halberds are all very, very good against Karl Franz, and my forces are quite tattered. So at this point, Free Company Militia just going to be unleashing into Silver Shields, which isn't the best, but you got to do, you do what you got to do. Got to do what you got to do. How does that expression go? Why is my brain not working today? Got to do it. What is this? It's just going to haunt me. You got to do what you got to do, I guess, kind of thing. But anyways, if you guys can remember that, please do aid me in my quest here. But the Jade Wizard, I actually did bring an item, the Scroll of Blasting. So it actually is like a bit of a fireball effect, and I was able to blast the Necrotech. So coming out with the surprise tricks, I'm able to blast that Necrotech right there, and Karl Franz comes in, so we get some really huge damage. These Free Company are going to keep shooting in right here, and the Necrotech is just getting beaten down by that fire. And here, unfortunately, there is a new Shopti summon, so the Brave Spearmen of the Empire, very, very tattered after this long battle, going to be rushing in to deal with this ancient threat. And you can see there's just a massive wave of this Tomb King's infantry coming. So the Free Company have 36 speed. They're pretty quick. Karl Franz comes in yet again and smashes that Necrotech just over the head with Gal Maraz. Beautiful stuff. This cannon crew is actually going to be coming back. So you can see the cannon crew in the distance going to be jumping on the cannon, which is going to open up a lot of play. Karl Franz fighting, but I have troops rallying everywhere. So seeing the Emperor charging in despite his injuries and mortal wounds, they're going to rush back and help out. And you can see that these halberds are done for. Other halberds are chasing. The Ushabti, unfortunately, are able to finish off my Free Company Militia, or at least break them. And now I'm going to be using Karl over here to try and polish off these skeleton spears, because I know if I kill the skeleton spears, I'm going to be able to get the cannon back online, which can do some very good work. So my Free Company right here going to be shooting downtown to those guys. Karl Franz just riding, just doing everything he can, but I actually didn't see this. So there's a whole nother group. The King Nikeshi's Scorpion Legion were actually chasing someone off the map, and now they're back. So this cannon, I pretty much have to forfeit it, and I think it's going to come down to a good old-fashioned Empire last stand. So right here, the Free Company Militia are going to be sallying forth. They got their cutlasses. Karl Franz coming in to break the leadership from the back, and we should be in pretty good shape. I mean, Free Company Militia, especially the Regiments of Renown, which are these the RORs? I don't think they are, but nonetheless, they have pretty good combat stats. The Halberds, of course, have much higher melee defense, but just through sheer volume. And I did have one more Earthblood, so we dropped that. It heals the Free Company. I have some supporting fire coming over here on the flank. And with Karl Maraz, oh, that's badass. Yeah, he's going to be pulling back up into the sky, and he should be able to rear charge into these skeleton spears and these halberds and these other troops here. And from there, it's pretty much going to be all she wrote. The Tomb Kings are going to be able to grind a little bit with Karl coming in with his Blood Roar, tanking their leadership, and it's just his mass. That's going to be all she wrote. So crazy game. And I don't know what it is. Whenever I play Empire or I see other Empire replays on other people's channels, it seems like the Empire games are just always super close. Yeah, they're just one of those factions that just play that way. You really got to scrap, but if you can, they can do wonderful things for sure. So yeah, the front line did well, just held their own. Free Company Militia were solid. Knights of the Blazing Sun, probably the one thing I would probably change. I would probably cut one of the Knights of the Blazing Sun and maybe just get another group of Demogryph Knights. I felt like that would have been more helpful. The double cannons were good, but Tomb Scorpions are just so good against double cannon. It's like I was trying to shoot them the entire battle, but it's like they shouldn't be obstructed if they're fighting in my infantry. They're like this massive construct, right? But the fact that they're so low to the ground makes it almost impossible to kill them with cannons. So I don't know, it makes me kind of question the double cannon pick, but the double cannons were one of the reasons I was able to annihilate the Ushabti so easily, because in the beginning I then switched onto the Ushabti and took those guys down. So for King's build, it was awesome. It was extremely powerful. It was a super close game. Obviously, it could have gone either way, so no complaints there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Empire versus Tomb Kings game. It was a lot of fun, and we'll be back with more videos soon. Take care, guys. And that doesn't make sense. I should have an excellent night and take care. It's not take care, guys, and have a good night. That does not make sense. Well, anyways, brains out of it today. Enjoy. We'll see you guys next time, and take care.